What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and today I'm going to tell you a crazy prison-related news story involving Walmart man. You know, we just did a video about Florida man and all of the different crazy stories that are in the news in relation to those keywords right there. Well, I can imagine that there probably are quite a few crazy stories involving Walmart as well. In fact, thinking about it, I'm quite sure everybody has a crazy story involving good old Wally World. You know, if you ask me, Walmart's a lot like a casino. They've got cameras everywhere, all throughout the store, all outside of the store. You know, you would imagine with as much security as they have at that place that it wouldn't be so easy to be perpetrating any kind of crimes inside of that place, such as stealing from Walmart. You know, I want to ask each and every one of you out there taking the time to watch this, have you ever stolen anything from Walmart? You ain't got to answer. Okay, we don't need you telling on yourself right here, but just think about that. Answer that to yourself. Yes, of course I have. I know I myself most certainly have way back in the day. I'm not going to go any further in that. I'm not about to incriminate myself. But you know, I would imagine probably 50% of the people who frequent Walmart have probably stolen something from that place. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me and people like me, or like I used to be. With as much security as at Walmart, you would imagine that not a lot of crime would be taking place there. However, there is quite a bit of crime that takes place, and people do be stealing from Walmart. And that is exactly what this story is about. Except this ain't no stealing on the little level. This is stealing on the biggest level that I've ever heard of in my life. In fact, who I'm getting ready to introduce you to, folks, is what I'd like to refer to as the Walmart Italian Job criminal mastermind. That's right, I have never heard of anybody stealing this much from Walmart. And you know, like I said, there's been times in my past, I'm not proud of this at all, back when I was doing all of the wrong things, I probably took something without paying for it. I was wrong for that. I don't condone that at all. If you're stealing, that's just plain flat out wrong. You shouldn't do that. But I never got arrested for stealing from Walmart. However, I did get arrested many times in my life. And through those many times in my life, when I did get arrested and ended up in either jail or prison, I would be locked up with people who would have the craziest stories of stealing from that place. Talking about walking out with big screen TVs or shopping carts filled with items. Walking right out the garden section with that. I bet you can't do that no more. But back in the day, though, it seems like Walmart was like the OK Corral, like the Wild Wild West. Place was off the chain. And they most certainly have made some improvements to try to prevent any of that loss. Prevention. Whether you've ever stolen from Walmart, whether you've ever stolen from Walmart or not, you probably know somebody who has. Or if you don't know somebody who has, you've probably seen a video on Facebook or YouTube showcasing that exact thing taking place. But this story I want to share with you guys is the largest scale theft ring I've ever heard of anybody being accused of. Folks, let me go ahead and introduce you to 23-year-old Thomas Frudaker. I don't think I'm pronouncing his name correctly at all, but Thomas Frudaker right here, this guy from Yuma, Arizona, a man who was accused of stealing. Are you ready for this? How much value do you think they put on the amount of stuff this guy was stealing? $100? $200? $1,000? No, folks. $1.3 million worth of merchandise from Walmart. This man is a criminal genius. This man made it. If you were being accused of stealing $1.3 million from Walmart and think about fencing those items, you probably made you at least $2,000 or $3,000 from that. I don't know what a pawn shop's gonna give you or how much you're gonna get on eBay for that, but I guarantee you, it ain't nothing even close to that $1.3 million worth of merchandise that this man is accused of stealing. Now, if you've never heard this story, this was actually major news just last year. It was June of last year when the story first broke. That's when this guy first got arrested for all of this. And I can imagine people probably think to themselves, like, what the hell could you steal from Walmart, and how much of that would you have to steal in an effort to reach a value of $1.3 million? God, that's a lot of money. That's a lot. This man, the Italian Job in Walmart in real life. Well, folks, it would not be big screen TVs. However, it most certainly would be electronics. And what this guy was stealing were computers. Now, I frequent Walmart at least once a week. I do my grocery shopping there, and I've bought in a TV or two from there in the past, and maybe even a camera or something like that. Definitely some video games. I've been in the electronics section in Walmart, and that's where the computers are at. And one thing that I've thought is that Walmart doesn't really got no nice computers. Well, I would learn that that's not necessarily correct. And in fact, Walmart does carry one particular line, or maybe a couple of different particular lines, of higher end, top end, better, higher priced, higher quality CPUs. computer processing units or whatever that stands for. But again, a computer like a big screen TV, I don't understand how you're actually going to get that out of the store. You're just not going to be walking out the front door with no computer that you ain't paid for. In fact, anything that you take from electronics, I think you got to pay for it right there in that section. They ain't gonna let you walk up to the front of the store with that new NHL 19 game that I just got that I like a lot, or the Division 2, another game that I like a lot, or no Fortnite, or no whatever that other battle royale game is that everybody's playing right now. I like to play games by myself. I don't like getting killed as soon as I spawn in whatever kind of a battle royale game there is. I'm horrible at those. But Walmart's gonna make you pay for them electronics before you even leave that section. They be running Walmarts now like it's Fort Knox. Well, old Thomas Frudaker would not be just walking out the store without paying for computers. In fact, he was actually paying for these computers, which makes absolutely zero sense. And what he was doing was he would buy these computers from the Walmarts and then he would take them home and dissect them like a frog in a biology class. I did not do that. Couldn't do that. I am an animal lover. You're not going to have me cutting the belly of a frog open. Not even a frog. Just ain't going to do it. Keeping it gangster. Thomas Frudaker, criminal mastermind, criminal genius. The Italian job of Walmart was buying higher-end computers from Walmart, taking them home, dissecting them, and then taking out expensive parts. Now, Cody's the IT guy here. Cody! What's worth money inside of a computer? Graphics cards and processors. I have learned that those are the higher valued items inside of computers. So Mr. Thomas Frudaker here, this guy was a genius. He was buying these computers, taking them home, taking out the graphics card and the processor, and then returning these things to Walmart. And again, I don't know a whole lot about technology and all that computer stuff, but I can imagine that them graphics cards and them processors, if you got an Intel Pentium 3 processor, that joint's gonna be worth a lot of money. And I mean, this was genius. Genius so much, in fact, that this man was accused of stealing $1.3 million worth of computer parts from Walmart. But folks, like any good plan that involves doing the wrong thing, eventually that plan is going to come unhinged. Maybe it was greed. Maybe it was doing too much. Maybe it was not being as cautious as you once were in the beginning. Maybe you felt like you were never going to get caught. I honestly don't know what it was. We are going to find out. I'll be telling you a little bit more about that just in a little bit. But eventually, Thomas Frudaker would end up getting caught for this and end up accused of this computer chop shop operation that he was running in over 1,000 Walmarts all across the country. This man was the Bonnie and Clyde of the Geek Squad. Now, thinking about the fact that this man got caught and got accused for stealing $1.3 million from Walmart in computer parts, you would imagine that this guy is facing a boatload of time. Walmart ain't playing no games. Steal a candy bar from them if you want to. You're getting arrested, but $1.3 million? You might be facing a life sentence. I don't know if it would be that drastic or not, but I can guarantee you with such a high-profile case as this was, this man was looking at a boatload of time. And then I also think about, with the fact that this guy is getting locked up, this guy who possibly could have been better suited for Geek Squad at Best Buy, a guy who's not really built like, if you're building computers, you ain't built for prison. But a guy who's possibly not gonna be your ideal candidate for somebody to get locked up and to be okay up in there. You're talking about a nerd. What happens when a computer person, AKA / Geek Squad nerd, I hate to use that, but I mean, that's the truth. What happens when a person like that gets locked up? They're gonna get eaten alive in prison. At least I would imagine so. But folks, let me tell you this. The reason why I share this story with you is because this Thomas Frudaker, 23 years old from Yuma, Arizona, actually reached out to me over the weekend. And this guy sent me an email saying $1.3 million Walmart man. Well, when I saw that, I had to open up this email. Thank God it wasn't no virus, because I'd have bit all day on that. And this guy has actually gotten in contact with me, and he wants to share his story. He wants to share his story here with the After Prison Show, and he wants to share his side of the story. And what I would learn from talking with this guy, the couple of times that we have, is that not everything that the media says is exactly true, or at least that's what he's saying. He's saying that the media portrayed him in a way that wasn't correct at all. 1,000 Walmarts, that's a lot of driving. I mean, what you doing? You building some major frequent flyer miles, traveling all over the country doing this. Now, I'm not gonna say it's impossible. And I honestly don't know what to believe. But with reading the stories on this guy, and I would only begin to do so since he emailed me and I had to fact check this, but when you type in this guy's name, all sorts of information pops up about $1.3 million in Walmart and computers and all sorts of stuff. But I think it would be best to let you guys Judge for yourself. Well, folks, brace yourself because we're getting ready to dig all up inside of this story with the Thomas Frudaker, $1.3 million criminal mastermind right now. Folks, right now, we have got the infamous Walmart bandit on the line. A guy by the name of Thomas. Thomas, could you pronounce your last name? Because I know I've been butchering that.
Frudaker.
Frudaker. Well, I was actually getting it right. Thomas, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us here on After Prison Show. Your story is one that's very compelling just because of the headline itself, where you first sent me an email that said Walmart theft $1.3 million. You know, how's it feel to be a celebrity in the news?
Oh, well, I didn't intend to be a celebrity when I drove through Yuma, Arizona, but I guess that's kind of how it happened now.
So I've done a little bit of digging, fact checking, because anytime anybody sends me a story, I always have to fact check it. We've had some people lie in the past, but your story pretty much, if they type in your name, they can see any article. Your name is completely, coincides with this Walmart situation, this $1.3 million worth of theft that took place from, supposedly as the media says, took place from over 1,000 Walmarts. From talking with you, the story is not necessarily the way that you know how it went down, correct?
Yeah, I was in Yuma, Arizona. I was only charged with fraudulent schemes and artifices, one count of theft and one count of attempted theft. So really, I was only charged with 2 stores, not the 1,000 the news media portrays me as.
Why do you think that because again, like I said, when you type in your name, it says, over 1,000 Walmarts. Why do you think the media ran so rampant with this theft of over 1,000 Walmarts, $1.3 million worth of merchandise?
Well, I think it started with the local police force here publishing, a bunch of garbage about how I defrauded Walmart of all this money, and I was looking through their another video a guy did, and he actually screenshotted the Facebook page of the police department who arrested me, and they posted something on there. Man suspected of defrauding Walmart of $1.3 million at 1,000 stores in all these different states, provide any tips or whatever. But the Walmart employee who originally contacted, the authorities, he was only investigating a theft of 50 to 60 different stores, not this 1,000 that the media was portraying me as.
Well, whether it was the 50 or the 60 or the 1,000, I mean, that's still quite a bit of different Walmart locations. And you don't deny the fact that you did some of what they accused you of doing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I didn't do it, but it was really only a handful of stores. In my discovery later on, in a supplemental report, they said they could only link me to 17 of the stores, which I feel that's that's an accurate number, not a 50 to 60 stores, and certainly not 1,000 stores for $1.3 million as the news media portrayed me as.
And would you explain to us what exactly you were doing? I talked about this briefly with the introduction to this video, but tell us exactly what you were doing that would ultimately lead to you getting in trouble in the long run.
Well, I had bought a HP home and gaming computer from this Walmart store. Took the stuff like the video card, graphics card, RAM, and processor out of it, and tried to return it at this Walmart. And apparently the asset prevention employees there got an email from this global investigator who was investigating all these fraudulent returns. They got the email, confronted me at the customer service desk when I was trying to return the computer. They took me to like a video surveillance office or something at the very front of the store, detained me there, and that's when they pulled up the email, and the police came about 15 to 20 minutes later.
And what was it like for you when you finally got caught for this?
First, I really didn't know what was going on. I thought it was just this is incident. Obviously, I'm not denying that, but I didn't think it'd make national news, so to say. And I would be accused of, doing $1.3 million of fraudulent returns at all these different stores throughout the United States.
And when you were taking these computers apart, I can imagine the graphics card, the processor, the RAM, like you were saying. I mean, these are high dollar items, correct? Were you selling these items?
I needed a few of these items for my computer repair business. I was actually on my way to San Diego to do a job at a data center, and I was maybe short 7 or 8 of the graphics cards. At the time, these graphics cards were used in cryptocurrency mining, and I was upgrading a data center. In my car, I had, had purchased a lot of my parts through wholesale auctions on eBay. So I had, several of these that I purchased 100% legally. Maybe had a short, maybe about 7 or 8 for this job I was doing. So I just, decided to, buy these computers, and they had the required components for the job I was doing.
So you actually had a computer repair business prior to the trouble that you would get into with the Walmarts.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And 100% legitimate. I filed my taxes on time. No kind of fraudulent transactions or phony business practices. This was 100% legit.
Until the Walmart situation came into play. And I asked you, what would lead you to going from a successful computer repair business, it seems like you had, what would lead you to go from that to the theft? Was it drugs? Was it something else?
Like I said, needed these parts for my computer repair business. And, I was based out of Texas. And so I just thought Walmart was a convenient place to buy these components. Of course, I didn't need the computer shell afterwards. So I figured, hey, return these. These take up a lot of space in my car, and it's where I'm at now.
So you would buy the computers,
Mm-hmm.
take the parts out. I mean, you knew what you were doing was wrong, though, correct?
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that I didn't do wrong, but certainly not this criminal mastermind like the media is portraying me as.
Well, like I said at the very beginning of this, when I first started looking up this story, there was a lot of news about this back in June of last year, I think is when it was. It doesn't really say what would end up happening to you. I read something about a plea bargain and then the plea bargain getting retracted. How much time would you end up serving, and what would you end up getting or pleading guilty to or getting charged with in the end?
Well, ultimately, got a plea bargain for attempted fraudulent schemes and artifices, which is a Class 3 felony in Arizona. A lot of the people who get caught selling drugs, instead of taking their case to trial, they get this Class 3 plea bargain, and ultimately I was sentenced to 4 years of probation. However, the first sentencing I went to, I was looking at 2.5 years in prison, but my lawyer appealed it and got me the probation instead.
How much time would you end up serving total while going through the court proceedings and getting your sentence?
9 months in a 80 by 50 foot jail housing unit with 50 other people.
And I definitely want to talk about this time that you served, because again, as I was doing the introduction to this video, you're a computer guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not exactly a stone cold convict here. Talk to me about what your time was like in the jail. Were you an easy target? Did people mess with you while you were there?
Surprisingly, the people I was in jail with were, very friendly towards me. We tried to help each other out. We actually had a Bible study in jail. And, overall, the other inmates were friendly towards me. But I think the main problem in this jail was the DOs, the way they, you know, the way they treated us, and food was crappy. We only got to go outside 1 hour a week, and the rest of the time we were just in that, small room with 50 other people. So after 9 months, that part of it really can really get to you.
When you got to the jail, I mean, with your story being so high profile, had people already known who you were when you came in there because of what was being portrayed in the media?
Oh yeah, I was famous in that jail. I remember one time, I guess a few days after I got to the jail, the this town's on the border of Mexico. There's a lot of Spanish speakers, and there's two TVs in this jail, and I remember on the Spanish TV, I guess there's some kind of news channel or something, and I heard all these people over there clapping. So I was like, what's going on? And so I walked over to that side of the room, and there my story was on the news and my mugshot, and they all thought it was a riot, basically.
You know, I've talked about situations like this in the past where famous people or celebrity status based upon high profile cases such as yours, even with the fact that you've never been locked up before, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So even with the fact that you've never been locked up, you could potentially be somebody who could be looking at problems from other prisoners. But because of the money equated to the headline, that $1.3 million headline, do you think the prisoners possibly were treating you favorably, trying to be your friend because they wanted to learn a thing or two from you? Did people ask you about your case and, hey, where's the money at?
Every person. I mean, I was pretty famous in that jail just because of how my case was portrayed on the news media. I mean, as far as the inmates go, I didn't really have any problems with them.
Well, I mean, that's a very fortunate situation that you didn't have any problems. And it's also really crazy to think about the way that the media portrayed this and then talking with you and hearing that that's not necessarily the way that this whole thing went down. They're saying you robbed 1,000 Walmarts. They're saying $1.3 million was, the take from all of this. And then you sit here and share the story with us and tell us that it was probably more something like 15, 17 Walmarts. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say less than maybe 15,000 bucks. Which, I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's certainly not millions.
There was a reason why you had reached out, and the reason why you had reached out was not just to share this story with us here on After Prison Show, which I'm very grateful for you taking the time to do so and being willing and wanting to do so. But sure. Talk about why you really wanted an opportunity to share your side of the story.
I wanted a platform to, share what actually happened with my case, get the facts out there. I mean, there was a lot of media bias, not only the media but the local police force. When I was, going to court, it seemed like all the law enforcement and everyone was biased against me, like I was tried in the media and convicted, and never really got a chance to express my side of the story.
And, by me and all of us hearing your side of the story, again, it just definitely sounds like the media grabbed this headline for whatever reason, because you most certainly wouldn't end up being convicted for 1,000 Walmarts. You would only end up being pleading guilty to what, one Walmart?
Basically, I mean, hell, the restitution was only $1,259.
And what's that, probably like the price of one computer?
Yes, or just one computer.
So it's just crazy to think about how twisted things could get in the media. And you brought up a very good point, saying that you were tried and convicted in the media prior to you even getting into the courtroom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had 3 different judges in my case. One of the judges at my conditions of release hearing, when they were setting my bond, the prosecutor just basically went berserk, saying I defrauded all these Walmarts, Now, granted, they didn't even have any documentation to prove that I had actually been at all these different Walmarts. He stained garbage like you ran $400,000 through your PayPal account. You defrauded Walmart of $1 million and 1,000 different stores all across the country. Your bond should be at least $500,000, and ultimately my bond was set at $100,000 for really what only amounted to $1,259 I was being charged with in Yuma.
What is the situation now for you? I'm sure you're on probation. You've served the time that you had to serve. I guess my main concern is, are you banned for life from Walmart? Was that a part of the condition?
Well, the funny thing is, I've never heard anything that I was ever banned from Walmart. Of course, I'm sure as hell not going to ever go to Walmart again.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They shit, but no one ever said I was banned from Walmart.
That's interesting, though, because I would imagine that would have been one of the first things that they would have ticked off of the list of things that they were going to hit you with. But with the fact that when people search your name up now, and that's what comes up, this is something that you're going to have to carry around with you for the rest of your life now, is this Google search result. Have you tried to contact any other media to try to clear your name or to explain or express your side of the story? Has any media reached out to you in an effort to be able to do so?
No media has reached out to me. I've reached out to a couple of different people, and they weren't really interested in helping me.
And I mean, this story was even covered by CNN, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, but, a lot of big media news organizations, Yahoo News, CNN. I saw an article on Business Insider. There's been a couple stories on YouTube as well, and most certainly the local newspaper here in this area and the local TV news station. Every single time I went to court, they would post that Walmart $1.3 million bandit goes to court for so and so, or so and so court is continued, and just every single time they were portraying me as this criminal mastermind who defrauded Walmart of $1.3 million, but didn't. That's not exactly accurate.
What is your plan now? You're released. You got a new opportunity. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that stand in your way, probably with probation and the search results that come up when your name gets typed in. But what is your plan now moving forward for trying to get it right and be successful out here?
I've actually put in an interstate compact request to transfer my probation to Florida. That's where all my family's from, and that area of Florida was recently hit by a very bad hurricane. So my plan is to, go back to Florida and help out with the rebuilding and construction efforts, and try to maybe start my own either remodeling or handyman business. Or I'm also interested in I like working on cars as well. So I was thinking about maybe starting like a mechanic business.
And I mean, obviously, these things that you talk about, these are not like entry-level type of gigs here. It's going to take some means and some resources to be able to put those type of things together. But then again, I mean, you're 23 years old and you were running a successful computer repair business. So I'm quite sure that you stand a good chance of being able to do anything that you want to do in a positive manner, minus a Walmart.
It's not going to be overnight, but I'll get there eventually.
Well, look, I want to keep this short and sweet. I wanted to definitely share your side of the story because, again, I think it proves and validates that not always what you read in the media, and God forbid it's probably more so than not, that the story and the headline actually matches the facts of the story. And I greatly appreciate you for sharing your side of this. Is there anything that you would like to leave people with, anywhere that they can find you if they want to contact you as we wrap this up?
I would like to make some videos to go more in depth, more in detail about my case that we weren't able to cover on this show. So if they go to my YouTube username is Internet Pirate 3. Over the next couple or several weeks, or maybe even a few days, I'm going to be posting some more more in depth videos of what actually happened with my case, some documentation proving what I'm saying here is true, along with in general, just go more in detail about how I've been doing, and more in detail about what actually happened with my case.
I would encourage people to check that out for sure. You said Internet Pirate 3 on YouTube?
Yes, sir.
And I'll offer you a little bit of advice as we wrap this up, and this is probably going to be in poor taste. But, if you're looking for some success on YouTube, a video you might want to consider is a tutorial video. How-to videos do really well on there, and possibly how to defraud Walmart out of $1.3 million through computer returns.
Hey, when I had that $100,000 bond in jail, I wish I had the $1.3 million like they said that I got out of Walmart.
Absolutely crazy, man. Well, look, Thomas, I greatly appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing your story and your side of this thing. And I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Keep me posted on what's going on with you. I know you're getting ready to move to Florida, and you've got some high hopes for things that you're trying to do down there. So definitely keep me posted on what's going on with you, man, and I'll definitely look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me come on this show and express my, my perspective of what actually happened.
It's not a problem at all, man. Look, I wish you nothing but success, and I'll look forward to talking with you again real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Take care.